All right. It is my favorite time of the week, Wednesday, 11 o'clock. Skipped last week, took a little vacation. There is such a clamor outside the building. It's taking a moment for my special guest to get through the crowds that are waiting there. And we've got her in just a second over here, but it's a Wednesday workshop for roadblock removal coaches and speakers. Oh my God, have we got the biggest roadblock in the world to help you work out today? And there she is coming in. And let me bring on the fabulous Avital Spivak. How are you?
Hey, Ray. I'm well, very well.
And it's amazing that when we're going to talk about tech, we couldn't find the right room to get into, and so that's par for the course. But you're like the saving grace for people like me. Today, quick shout out to all you out there. If you're watching, you have questions or you want to make comments, you can come on live. It's joinraylive.com. If you have an older version that you've saved to come on before, it will not work because it'll take you to a different room, and you'll be sitting in the closed green room, and you'd be eating the food from last week's guest. So come on, Join Ray Live right now. If you put a comment in, it will show up live on the screen. We're testing it out. This is the very first time. Because you're here, Avital, I am doing this just to see if it works. So somebody please comment. Let us know what you're thinking there. But let's talk tech, shall we? And I love and here's the great thing about having a guest like Avital. She sent me a list of questions to ask her, which is always fabulous, so I don't have to come up with them all. But one that I thought was particularly amazing was, how can you tell if your tech is holding you back?
Ooh, that's a really good one.
Yeah. Because I bet I'm going to have most of the symptoms.
I think some of them are false symptoms. I'll start from there. Because I think some of us think our tech is holding us back. So it's really good to know how to actually check if our tech is holding us back and not assume that it is or it isn't.
I love that. Because when we assume it's a thought, not a fact. We have to figure out what the facts are.
Yes. And when we blame, it's like something is bugging us, something is not working, we're not sure what's going on. It's the tech. And once we pointed that finger, we stop looking anywhere else. That's a dangerous move.
And it's so cool because we'll sit there, and the easiest thing to blame is something that can't blame back.
Yes.
And the tech is a faceless thing. The tech is out there.
I'll tell you more than this. There's like a hidden danger there, because that finger, though it's the tech, a lot of time and I can't work the tech. I'm not techie. So if you have any kind of lack of confidence around technology, then you say it's the tech that's holding me back, which really means something is wrong with me and I can't make this work. And you're going down now it's like 2 symptoms removed from what's actually maybe going on that you're not longer looking at because you're so busy, lamenting something that may or may not be true.
There's a wreck in the tech. And then the other side of that is, and you mentioned this too, people will put together 27 different pieces of tech to get all their job done when there's probably 1 or 2 that could do that for them. Talk about that.
Okay. That's a huge one. And that ends up, again, getting blamed on the tech because part of what's happening is this. There are most businesses that are solopreneurs or very small businesses have a small set of needs. We need to be visible. We need to be able to deliver. We need to be able to take payments. There's like a set of 5 to 7 different things that we need covered. And by covered, I mean, we're online. We're online, therefore you can't just give me $20 here through the screen or $1,000 or $3,000. It doesn't work. We need a way to transfer money online. We need a way to have a conversation online, which we are right now. So there are those few needs. If you know the list of the few needs, and if you can check all of this is covered, you can stop running after all the different shiny things and get more and more and more and more and more. And that's very powerful, to keep it simple and not just try to get everything. And in that sense, to what you said about, the 27 different things, a lot of tools can actually do more than one of those, cover more than one of those bases. So similarly to how we would get a team, a team of people, build a team. When we build a team, we're not just going, okay, I need one person to close the windows and one person to open the doors and one person to send the email, mail, et cetera, et cetera. We don't just go grab people and add them to our team because we have something that needs to be done. We actually consider, okay, we have this person already with us. Can they do more? Can they do something I need now? I didn't think about it when I brought it into the team, but it has more capabilities than I actually looked at. Can it do some of the new things that I need? So you actually can interrogate your own tools, and they have more capabilities than you thought before. So instead of going out there and trying to find the best tool to do this, that's a myth, by the way. There is no best tool. They might be best at specific, things,
Mm-hmm.
but really the best tools are the ones that work together as a smooth team. So if this one's really good at this, that one's really good at that, but they speak different languages, now you have to manage both somehow and transfer information, and now you're the translation. It gets to be a mess. There's no best. There's what's the best team for me.
It's funny. We had where I worked a long time ago when I had a real job. I was a sales manager for this like world-class sales organization. It was like the award-winning small business in the United States, and they got a CRM years ago, and it did so much years ago that what they did is they took out all the little bells and whistles that it did. They didn't show the salespeople that. They just showed the basic things. Anything could have done it, but they got this one and they took out all these fancy things because it would have confused people. So they went to the lowest common denominator. Sometimes that's not a bad thing, but there's always, but we lean on what we know versus what we want to have happen. We live in the past we repair the past instead of prepare for the future.
Yes. And sometimes it's the right move, sometimes it's the wrong move. You have to actually look. And that's I think a lot of tech problems that people run into come from before they had that tool.
Yeah.
It's recruiting the right tools for your team is critical. And that's something I can talk about forever, but we don't have forever on this.
And if somebody does want to come in and ask a question in here today or want to come in live, put a comment in the chat. Also, this is being recorded. It's shown on YouTube. It's on LinkedIn. It's on Facebook. If you watch this and you go, oh my God, I have tech questions, put it in the comments and I will make sure that Avital gets your question. If it's a question for her, if it's a question for me, leave it for me and I'll make sure we get it. But it's joinraylive.com. Don't go to a previous one. Go to this one, joinraylive.com. It changes every week, although it all works through joinraylive.com. I think that's what probably happened. You used an old version of Join Ray Live.
I'd like to try and answer your first question, though, because I kind of went around it, but I want to come back to it. And that was, how can someone know if tech is holding them back or not?
Yeah.
And I want to say that the question is this: what is the goal of your business? What is the problem you're trying to solve? Where are you at? When you know your strategy, when you know what is the goal, what is the thing that you're busy doing, then you can look, do I have the tools that help me with that? Is anything that I'm doing with technology, is that bring me toward that goal that I have right now? Or is that, making me too busy on building something for the future but it's not here and now. So you have to actually look and see first from the lens of what's the strategy, what am I doing in my business? Then look, is my tech aligned with that or not? If you're busy on tech that's not on the path, question that.
What about, and I'll just kind of use me as an example, since I'm kind of like your Luddite best type of client here. I'm always looking for something to make my life easier. And the problem with that is everything can make your life easier. So there's the immediate gratification of seeing something that can possibly make your life easier.
Yes.
Then there's the time and effort it takes to actually make your life easier. There's a shopping cart that I have that is designed really to do everything. And it's got so many wonderful things into it. And but it just takes some time to get where you can automate it, make it easy and do that.
Yes.
It's the patience inside to have that happen is such a horrific thing to have to deal with. Everyone wants to be a ninja overnight.
Yes.
And I always said, well, that's why you need to have a teenager. You know, it's like you need a teenager or Avital. There you go.
That was good. So what's your question there?
The question is well, I have two sides to this thing, because you said something that really kind of intrigued me as well. Because when I say that goal, I want to make my life easier, that's not really a clear goal. It's not specific. And when I talk about communication with people, I always talk about you ought to, whenever you speak, your single job is to change the world, right? So every time you do something, every email you send, every letter you write, every conversation you have, who writes letters? Everything you want to know, what do I want the person to act, react, or emote to? What do I want them to do, think, or feel when they're done? And I have to be able to say that in 10 words or less, because if I can't, the audience will never get it. So half of the time is like when I go to buy something, I'm not dealing necessarily with the expert on it. I'm dealing with a salesperson.
Yes.
And the salesperson's job is to sell it. And they understand that to sell it, if I get excited about it, I will buy it, because I'm a salesperson. So I'll buy things, as I said. So if I set these goals that aren't clear, everything you get can push you in that right direction, but it doesn't solve the problem. It's just a shiny object.
You answered your question so beautifully. It's hard to do better, because that is the point of the shiny object, is to get you thinking and feeling that this thing is going to solve all my problems.
Yeah.
But you actually, it's like coming to the supermarket without your list, shopping list.
I do that too.
Yeah, it's a character trait. So you can, if you do this, you do that. If you buy all those kitchen gadgets that are on TV, that's similar. It's all, or car gadgets, whatever it is that you are interested in. It's that, do I actually need this? Is it on my path of strategy? Does it solve a big problem, a small problem? The problem that I have, what kind of problem is it? Is it urgent? Is it necessary? Is it worth spending my budget on? And what's really the cost of this? Because there's this hidden thing, and you touched on it, that when you get a new tool, there's an on-ramp of learning it and setting it up in the way that would make it, yes, the tool can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But what's necessary for the tool to actually do it? They don't come out of the box ready, especially those fancy ones that can do everything. They're coming out in pieces, and you need to know what you want to build. You get this huge bucket of Legos.
Yeah.
What are you building? You need to know. And yes, once you build it, it will make your life really great. But until then, what are you doing with current clients and with current sales and with current, there's everything. And yes, they will actually, for $2,000, $3,000 more, somebody will build it for you.
Yeah.
But if you still haven't defined what it is that you need for your business with your strategy, they will build what they think is a great funnel for you.
Yeah. That's
That
so
may
true.
not be fitting. You may not know how to work it once you get it. You may not have the prerequisites to do something with, let's say they make a funnel that gets you 1,000 leads. Do you have a system to take 1,000 leads and do something with them? It's really the business first, the tools second. And whenever we start looking at the tools, in all my talks, I say, focus less on the tech. You don't need great tech to have great impact.
Yeah. I know people that have very successful businesses that do it completely through MailChimp, but I've also know people that have very successful business that use like this fancy dancy everything, thing. Some of people successful with free MailChimp. You can do it anyway, and it's the goal that really is important, the clarity of it, and that's what, because when I talk to people about using me for something, either selling or presentation skills, there's really three layers of it, and it's the same kind of thing I think in your industry. If you really broke it down to that, the first stage is somebody gets information, right? You buy a book, you read a white paper, you see a video on how to do something, right? But that's not, I could give you a book on how to do knee surgery. Would I let you do surgery on my knee? Probably not. I might. I trust you, Avital, but probably not.
I'll probably won't take you on that offer.
Yeah, well, I have two knees, so you can mess up one. We're okay. They call me peg leg or something. So that's the first level is information, but then the real thing is in my world, like a keynote is information, right?
Yes.
But the next question is, how are you going to integrate it into your company? Did you want my help with that, or you have other people to do that yourself?
Yes.
So how are we going to take this information we've given you and make it so everybody in the company can use it?
Yes.
And that's raising the fees and raising your interaction with this thing, which also raises the trust, which raises future business.
Yes.
The last step is really transformation. And that's where they can do it on their own, and they're teaching their own people how to do it. But to get to that point takes a lot of your time, effort, and energy, which in turn is going to cost them a lot of their money, right?
Yes.
And that's a fair exchange. So
absolutely. I think it's always a good idea to know when you need to call in the professional.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some things that I will do with plumbing. I'll change that thing that's the flapper or whatever it's called, or whatever, and then I'll call the plumber if it's a little more than that. Yes, I can do DIY, YouTube and go figure it out, but is that worth my time and the results? Not sure about that. So similarly, if you build a home, you don't just want to become the builder, to learn architecture, okay, you get the greatest builders, but if you're not an architect, you can't communicate to them what to build for you. So in this analogy, I'm the architect in the tech world because I hear your vision and I can help you get the right builders, and I can translate your vision to what they can build. Or for the solopreneur, to what you can build, because you can be a good builder, but you don't know what to build. You get the tool and you can make it work, but you really don't know what processes you need and how to make it work for you. So that bridge is so important, and we need help at times.
There's something about the phrase, you put the tech in architect, that I like. There's possible branding material for you right there.
I haven't seen that before.
Came out of here. So it's there are so many things that will just suck me into the world and it's not necessarily the tech, but it's me spending the time trying to do it right.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I tried to do a lead magnet, or just have a landing page. I think it was just a landing page. It took me like 5 hours, and I know like a 4-year-old could have done it in 5 minutes, right?
No,
No,
I disagree.
maybe 10 minutes.
You know,
Just to
most
have a
people are
basic.
not. Most people are not aware of it, but to have a landing page, that link that people can get to put their email address in, it
Yeah.
looks very simple from the outside when you use it. You click the link, you put your email address, and you get that thing in the mail. Great. When you're building it, you need to create that email, and you need to create some tags. You need to have a mailing tool that you put the people into your list. You need to have a landing page. You need to have a thank you page. You need to have, I just did about half of that structure. The delivery structure for any kind of thing is actually quite complex. So if you don't know what it is and you try to just kind of follow the tool to make it happen, you get lost.
And then because it's like, it's kind of like, you know how the sausage is made, so it's like behind the tech circuit there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that try to make it like a one-stop drag and drop kind of thing, and those can work because I know people have successful business with those, but for the most part, people wind up looking like something out of 1985, and then people don't go back and change it because it works,
Yes.
but there is something. There's two sides to this, and I think this is kind of the fine line that we walk in all of our careers and lives, especially as entrepreneurs. It's, I've got something that works versus do I want to look like an expert? And if you don't look good, they don't think you're good.
Yes.
But you don't have to look perfect.
No.
Nobody wants perfection. Everyone wants the intensity of your presence. So if you can show up on these things and show up with your branding and your messaging and be authentic and be alive today,
Yes.
they will buy into. If like if I showed up with a big head of hair, people go, oh yeah, that's not
New Jersey, 80s. Yes.
Yeah.
I think there's a hidden assumption in what you said.
Yeah.
I don't say that you're assuming it, but it's very common that there's you said like the looking old and not trendy and it works, and then looking good, right?
Yeah.
There's an assumption that ties this together with clunky old tech, great new tech.
Okay.
Now, I want to separate those two because I'm saying, yes, you have to look great. Not just that it's a necessary thing. It's not, maybe not great. Yes, you can look good enough, but great is better. And I'm saying you need to look great. Why? Because we're online. And online, we can't shake hands and we can't transfer money and we can't do anything. Tech is the bridge. Yeah. My clients see my tech. They don't see me. Even here, they see StreamYard.
Yeah, and
so in that sense, it's critical that we look good. Now, nobody said that you need great tech to look good. You actually need to make the effort to keep tweaking your tech. The simple tech that you know how to use well to look great would end up looking better than the shiniest that you don't know how to work and is clunky and and because you didn't tweak it and take time to make it better and better, then there's dangling links and things that don't work. And and the thing is to go in and fix the leak and fix, when you buy a new house, that there's going to be some new house problems. Why? Because it's new. It hasn't been tested, and you're going to find out where there's a little leak and where this and where that. It's the same with tech. You need to put it in place, then you need to tweak it to become great. It's not going to be great out of the box.
Yeah, so. And I think that's such a great point. And the funny thing with like what we're doing here is we're not just talking to people. We're fighting fighting for their attention from their cats, their pets, everything else. This version of us is different than the live version of us. And one of the things that you kind of learn how to do. So see these right here, your hands, these are trustworthy. And people love to see each other's hands. And so because of Zoom, and I noticed you doing it too, I have learned to talk with my hands higher.
Up. Yes.
and there's a reason that every politician in the world does this. Your thumbs are trustworthy. And it's not that they have DNA in their system that says I'm a great politician, so that means I do this. No, there's a spin doctor that said, look, people trust your thumbs. Your thumbs are the most trustworthy piece of your body, just about. And like if somebody's sitting back with this little hands of prayer, it's almost like a power pose. And if I say something that bothers you or annoys you, what happens to your hands is you put them together like this. You hide your thumbs. And so that shows lack of trust. So there's a million little body language tips that you can show off to people. These are all almost they are subconscious.
Yes.
But they make a difference in people sticking with you and listening to what you have to say. I talk about connection all the time because that's my obsession, I guess is what you say.
And there you are actually doing the thing, because you are making the communication through this, online thing better and better and better by learning how to, okay, I need to use my hands here. I need to use my thumbs there. I need to, there's all the pieces that make your communication better. It's not about the better tool in this case. And it's very similar. And there's a little mindset change that I want to tell people about, because it's tricky, especially those of us who love those shiny objects and the exciting new tech and all that. We need a channel to channel this excitement into, because otherwise we miss it. Now, if you can get yourself excited about your own funnel landing page tool and kind of like, ooh, I have this many people come through it this way, or they clicked on this link but not on that link. What's going on there? Can I actually, like, you can gamify it for yourself. What's the next piece that would make this one? Oh, maybe if I put a video on that page, maybe and you start tweaking it and you find what works better. Mm-hmm. And that will give you a lot more return on investment of your time and excitement and creativity than buying the new tool and setting the lowest landing page that kind of already works so I can start using it.
And I think this is something that I always tell people to do about like email subject lines and things like that. But I think it would be the same thing with tech, is what got you, So if you see, oh my God, this is a great landing page. Oh my God. Well, what are they doing that you could, I call this American Idol marketing. You take something that's working for somebody else and you make it your own, and you can do the same things they do. I open up emails based on the subject line sometimes, and I have no interest in reading the email, but the subject line got me. So I'm always like, oh, that got me. Why did that get me? And if I can recreate that, then I will use it. So here's an example. Target sent me an email that said, whoops, sent you the wrong email. And I thought, oh my God, they sent me coupons I'm not supposed to have. I wonder what's in there, right? So I opened up the email and I was looking through it. It was a horrible email. It was just a regular ad. Wow. But I stopped when I read it because I was disappointed. And I stopped when I read it and I go, wait, what got me about that? It was the curiosity.
The mystery.
The mystery of it. And so now if I speak at an event, either live or virtually, I will send the next day to everybody in attendance, whoops, forgot to tell you something yesterday. And it always gets opened, and it's the next step to touching on people. So nice. I took Target's idea, and I'm not using the whoops idea is the thing that got me.
Yes.
And that's what I did. And so that made it an effective thing for me. So what works on you gets customers just like you.
Yes.
Your favorite
Yes.
kind of customer.
And that's what I call tech. A lot of people stop at the hardware part of it, like, or the software part of it. But I'm saying tech is the way that you connect with the client. So you are working on the email tech.
Yeah. Okay.
To make it better, right? So you make the bridge between you and your client be more efficient. But you're focusing less on the tech itself, but how to make this tool work better. What more can I get out of this tool? How can I use the things that are already working for me and, because that's what we want. Better connection, better communication, more people opening our things, more people engaging with what we send to them. So that's the craft that we need to focus on, not so much those shiny objects. Because what got you, because if you will spend a little moment, when you get excited about a new tech with somebody really marketing it for you, look back at yourself and what got me so excited? What is it that's bugging me today that this feels like it's going to fix? Because that will tell you where you need to put your attention. It's like, that thing has been bugging me. I haven't been given it its due. I haven't really been looking at what is it that's going on there that I can change or do. But even without me knowing, it's kind of subconsciously bugging me. And that ad clicked exactly that button. Which button was it that they clicked? Same as what you do with the email headlines.
Yep. And there's, man, you've opened up another road to talk about here. There's like two roads I want to talk about. One is, so one of the things that got me is I was looking at something, a CRM or something, and I almost was ready to buy it. And then I clicked off of it and it said, wait, don't go. Here's, 20% off. And I go, oh, okay. And I bought it. Now I see that in a lot of places. I never buy something without clicking off of it first because I know a lot of people are using this little tech thing. So I think that once if you're using a certain tech or certain idea, once you hear a few people complain about, oh, I'm so tired of that pop-up when I click off of something, then you go, okay, I better change that because that's going to be the hated part of the tech. And that's one area. The other one is, and I thought I found a solution to this one. So right now I'm looking at your face talking to you, which my eyes are not meeting the camera. And right now I'm looking at the camera, but not really looking at you. Well, I bought a product called Center Cam, which I could put the camera,
kind of like.
Yeah. But the problem with that is it didn't do as good a job as the camera on my Mac.
Yes.
And it had issues staying on. And maybe it was just I had a bad one or something like that. But it was frustrating. So I liked it. I loved it for like 5 months. And then it started having all these issues and I got rid of it. So that's where and they have this and they've got other things that do it. Yeah. But I'm wary to pull the trigger on something else that could put the camera, right between your eyes, so I could look right at it.
Yeah, so, it's a challenge.
Yeah, and that would, if I was the inventor type, I would, every time I notice something like that, oh, I wonder how we do that. I wonder how we get that. And there's ways to do it, but there's got to be some simpler way to do it.
I'm sure there is. I'm not aware.
There is a.
The only thing I do is I put the person I speak with as close to the camera as I can.
Yeah, and it's not.
And it's not fully satisfying.
It's a good that far down from the camera, where and so that's a big difference than that. Right?
Yes.
And the other time I have done a lot of things where I just look straight at the, if you're doing a Zoom meeting and there's 50 people on it, I'll look straight at the camera and talk.
Yes, I don't. Exactly. I don't need to see myself. Sometimes I do need to see my notes.
Yep.
So it's a challenge as well. Yes.
That is absolutely true. Yeah, it's just fascinating And I love the reframe that we are the tech, and the things that we do. It's just like tech. It's no different. It's just a different wiring that we have to do to get what we want out of that. And it
Yeah.
really comes down with the clarity.
Yeah. You have your hands, right? That's a
Mhm.
piece of tech. And most of us were taught how to do a handshake.
Yeah.
So it's like we all have those same hands, but how to use them well. So a lot of people, sometimes I work with people who know how to present really well in a room full of people,
Yeah.
but don't know how to do the same magic through Zoom. And there are various strategies. Okay, what is it that you want to do? Okay, I don't want people to just take the mic and run away with it. So in a room, you have somebody hold the mic to their mouth so they cannot just, it can be taken back. In here, it's the mute, unmute. You don't let people just unmute and talk. You make them raise their hand and you unmute them on purpose. So there's ways to get the same reaction or what it is that you want to do. There are different strategies to make that happen, but you need to learn to do them.
Yeah, there's such a because I know a lot of people that are really good live, but they're not good through the little green dot, and that is there's a bunch of little things that happen that are built into that. When you look at people are embarrassed if something happens on their screen. I would celebrate it. And that's when I started out in Zoom, I went to my local paper and I said, oh, there's a thing called Zoom fatigue that you should do an article about. They said, do you know an expert? I go, yeah, I'm an expert. 2 days later, there's an article about Zoom fatigue that I helped write. And it's just taking a completely different look at what everybody's doing. I got so tired of, hey, Avital, you're on mute. Unmute yourself. You're on mute. I created this thing. I just called it Rule 13. And so if anybody goes on and they're muted, I'll just say Rule 13. And pretty soon it started catching on. I went to another meeting of some other completely different work, and someone said Rule 13.
Mind blown.
Yeah. And I would do things like, instead of, because everybody says, okay, everybody, quick introduction. Who are you? What do you do? It's like, oh, shut up. That's so boring. I said, all right, grab something that you can see that's right in front of you that is important to you. And that I want you to introduce that item to the group. And when you do that, people learned a little bit more and they felt the passion that you have. I also did a celebration of life. I go, everybody go to your refrigerator, get the oldest thing that's sitting in your refrigerator now, and let's get rid of it finally. Let's have a celebration of life for that jar of horseradish that's been there for 16 years. And just a different way of looking at the same old thing. And that's what tech really is. It's a different way of introducing the same old thing, because nothing changes. Nope. It's just how we're able to do it.
Exactly. And that's the fun of it for me. Mm-hmm. Is, okay, how do we use that tech? Whatever you have. Mostly I don't suggest for people to change these and change that, because there's so much cost. It's like moving home, there's anybody that's ever moved knows that there's costs beyond the cost of this apartment and the cost of that apartment. It really takes over your life for a little while. So similarly, new tech. So what can we do with the one we have? Now, yes, if it's clunky, broken, whatever, let's replace it, of course. But otherwise, let's do something with it. And with that creativity, just like what you just said, hey, go to your fridge. If you had everybody in one room, you can't tell them to go to the fridge.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of fun stuff that happens online. It's just not the same medium. It's not good, bad. It's not the same. So what is it that you want to do? What's your strategy? How can I use the tech to make that strategy happen?
And I think
always wins.
I think that, and this is a concept that probably works with tech and with live performances. When you feel like you have a flaw, don't hide it, feature it. and if because I know the principle in speaking, if I know what you're thinking before you say it to me, then it's like I'm reading your mind. So I'm going to design an appearance in front of people, and if there's something that pops up that everybody sees and thinks about, if I don't talk about it when everybody else is seeing and thinking about it, they're not going to pay attention to me because they're paying attention to that. Like the phone going off in a meeting, right? Everybody hears it.
Yes.
And if you don't address it, you know, and like the pet coming across, the tail coming across the bottom of it.
I love that one.
And I would give awards for the most embarrassing pet interruption, and the best family interruption. You know, because people try and hide their kids from the meeting. It's not professional to have kids in the meeting. Yes, it is. It's on Zoom. You're at home.
Yeah.
You know, plus, people rather see your kids than be in the meeting, and they don't understand that. You know, it's what makes the meeting more memorable. And you can actually use tech to create those moments.
What do you mean? Give me an example.
You can. So someone showed up in the meeting, and you know how you can change. I can change into an avatar.
Yes.
And that's pretty simple to do, but nobody had seen it. And this person had and they were talking to people. People like going, "Why is this mouse talking to me?" You know, and it would look, you know, yawn. It would do all the. It's really, really good. And I think the first one I ever saw of that was the lawyer who had, I think it went viral. There was a lawyer, and his kids played with the computer, and he went into like a cat, and he's the judge is at him. Have you seen that?
I believe I did. It's been a while, but yes.
I can assure you, Honor, I am not a cat. But those kind of things, to me, make life worthwhile.
Yes.
And that's what embarrassment should make your life worthwhile, because it's going to change the way you live in one way or another. So that's like, so you don't fear it, you embrace it. And that's what you need to do with tech.
Yes.
The world is never going to be slower than it is right this second. And if you don't embrace that, you don't have to be an expert on it, but you can know enough to get by. And to a third grader, a fourth grader is a genius. So you don't have to know everything, but there's still a lot of people that will look at you as smart.
Yes. Because the thing is this, it's not black or white. It's not, I know Canva, I don't know Canva. It's, you know, this is a bit of an older tech, right?
Yeah.
And for the life of me, I cannot write a poem.
Okay.
I can't write a poem. Can I use this? Yes, but I can't use it for everything. I can't do, you know, I can do engineering sketches, but not draw faces. Yeah. I can do all sorts of things with this tech. If I need to solve a problem, can this solve my problem? Sometimes yes, sometimes no, but I have to consider it. It's one of my tools.
That's actually a really, really good demonstration. And let's combine everything here.
Okay, go for it.
So you can't write a poem. You have a tool that would allow you to write a poem.
Yes.
And let's say you have to memorize it and give it to a large audience. Well, guess what? You can go to AI and say, write me a poem on being the tech confidence coach. It will write you a poem. It may not be the greatest poem in the world, and you can actually tweak it once they did it. But here's the thing. It won't help you memorize it.
Nope.
That little thing you held up, the pen in your hand, if you took that same poem and wrote it out after the tech gave it to you, and then use this tech to write it out, you are going to memorize it much faster with that physical act of writing it out.
Absolutely.
And so you can combine tech to get a faster result.
Yeah, it's using your senses, and because you're writing, it's also using your vision. And, you know, if you click, 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 there's like an auditory part to it. It's really starting to involve a lot more of you.
Yeah. And there's a study that, you know, it's kind of like why New Year's resolutions for most people don't work. If you think about something 3% of the people actually do it. If you think about it and write it down, the number goes up, I believe, to 44%. But if you think about it, write it down, then share it with somebody else, it goes up to 70%.
Yes.
And so.
And I think there's another layer. If you read it every day, that it makes or
Oh, sure.
Or text it to someone every day.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that can change it. Yes.
And I think, if you combine the beauty of the human brain with the tech, and if you create affirmations for you around tech, if you're not good, I'm a unique and gifted individual, and I'm great at tech. If I said that every day, how much better would I get in tech very quickly? Because then I start to believe that, and then I don't fear. I'll open things up I wouldn't normally open up. That scares me. And it's that fear. The other thing too, you can't do anything alone. There's not a soul that got successful by themselves. There's always somebody that does something better than you. That realistically, I should not be spending my best hours on my tech, because that's not what gets me money.
Exactly. Like, I'm not spending all my time on my plumbing.
Yeah.
I just don't. And
there are days I spend too much time sitting on my plumbing, but that's a whole other story.
That's a whole other story. But yeah, when we combine it all together, what I'm interested when I'm working with people on their tech, it's not the tools. It's how do I use this tool? What's the process? What is it that you want to get? And what process gets you there? And how can we make that process more effective, more efficient? How can we tweak parts of the process to, start multiplying stuff? Where is it breaking down? Where is it working great? Let's double up on that. We're looking at how it works in motion. It's not the tool itself that does the work. It's how you use it. And I'm not even talking automation right now.
Yeah.
I'm just talking how you use it. Once that thing is working and it's working well, okay, now it's time to automate it. Because now we know what path we want to take. Automation takes time. Just to build something takes time. I shouldn't be coming out of the gate trying to build something I haven't tried before. I'm an engineer, so I won't do that, because it makes no sense to already go and spend material and time on building something that I haven't tested and tried and verified and made sure it does what I want it to do. It just won't work.
So I'm super creative. I'm not a logical thinker at all. I'm super creative. But I have a friend that learned how to write stories in Excel. And so he just writes them in Excel and removes the lines. It's the craziest thing in the world. What? But that's what he does. Yeah. And it's really insane to watch that. That's a great example of, we have these things and we don't use them correctly, or we use them in the wrong way.
Yes.
And we think we're saving money by doing it ourselves, and we're not.
Yes.
There's always, and the time, like my time is best spent figuring out how to create conversations with people. Because if I have conversations with people, they buy my coaching, they hire me to do other things. That's what they do. But if I have to figure out how to get an email to these 60 people, and it takes me 4 hours to do that, that's an absolute waste of my time, when someone else, that's their native genius, and that's what they should do.
I would put a caveat on it. It's true and not true.
Sure.
Because let's say that you have a really great tool that could do it really easily, and the first time you use it, it takes you 4 hours. Or maybe even you get somebody and you pay them to help you set it up the first time, and it takes 4 hours. The second time it takes you 2 hours. The next time, 10 minutes, done. And you don't need to get that person, and you don't need, you have your creativity burst, you're right in there, you know what you're doing. So if there's a learning curve there that is fast and can get you there, that investment in fixing that gap is well worth it. And that some people don't realize that investing in learning to do something efficiently, because they just see this and they say, every time I go there, it takes me 4 hours. That's crazy. I say, yes, because you've never done the right 4 hours that would get you to make it efficient. You just fight it every time.
And that's
not good.
That I think is an entrepreneurial conundrum, because I totally agree with that. And that's the thing I'm working with and setting up now is to enable that exact thing. But what would happen to me is I would do these things where I hardly ever bulk email. And so I would have to go back and relearn what I did the thing 4 months ago, because I didn't remember it from 4 months ago. It never got inside of here. So yeah, you're 100% correct. You have to be honest with yourself as to why things are taking time and what they're doing. Yes. And to me, it's much easier to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, Avital, I need help with this," or to contact. If somebody's looking for help right now with their tech and wants to demystify some things from it, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
So they can go to vitalweave.com. It's vitalweave.com, vitalweave.com. That's my website.
Okay.
You have two buttons there. One is to set up a meeting with me. The other one is to get on my workshop that happens once every 6 to 8 weeks. So you can come to my workshop, see who I am, ask me questions. You can come to my Q&A, or you can just set up a meeting with me and come talk. Because really making things efficient and making things effective for you, that's what I love doing.
Very cool. So it's vitalweave.com.
Yep.
And if you go on there, where is that? Okay. So she has weekly workshops. The buttons are on vitalweave.com, right?
Yeah.
Weekly workshops, or sit down, have a one-on-one with her. Great to have a conversation with her. She knows what she's doing. And what's the thing you're doing later today? You're doing another one of these things.
Yeah, I'm hosting a monthly meeting in the Grand Connection networking, but it's open to everybody. And it's called the MarTech, the Marketing Technology Grand Marketing Technology Group. And today we're talking about integrations, how tools talk with each other. And there's native integrations and non-native, and what's good, what's bad, and why should you even care? That's what I'm talking about today.
If you want to dip your toe in the pool of Avital, go to her LinkedIn, and she's got the thing up about what she's doing today, and there's a link to it right there. Go there, hop on, watch her work, get more genius from her. You don't need to hear from me. You hear from me every week, but find out more about her.
Yeah.
Genius is fantastic, and it's very, very helpful for people. So I'll be back next week doing this. And last words, Avital, for the people out there, your newest fans.
Yes. Read what's written on the screen. Those things that pop, the rude things that come in front of your face?
Yeah.
It's usually your software, your tool trying to talk to you, and you're ignoring it. And if you're not listening to the conversation, you get into trouble. So
now, do those things stop when you click end pop-ups? or you hide the pop-ups?
Years ago, the pop-ups were mostly junk. It was horrible. These days, the pop-ups are mostly relevant to what you're doing.
Okay.
But it's good to look at the top where the title is, and it tells you who's talking to you. Because, if I'm walking down the street, I'm not listening to everybody that tries to talk to me.
Yeah.
I make my decision. Okay, what do you want?
Yep.
So it's the same with that pop-up. Instead of immediately sending it off, if it's the tool that you're working on that's trying to tell you something important, and you're ignoring it, you get into more trouble.
Very cool. Pay attention to your pop-ups, people. It's your computer talking to you, and it could be something you need to know. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week, 11 a.m. Pacific. Thank you so much. Thank you, Avital, for being in here today. Always a pleasure. Come back anytime.
Thank you, Ray. Take care.
All righty.